Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Alumni Series, Episode 3. It's so cool and so crazy to think that, I had just thought of the idea, maybe 2.5 months ago, that I was like, hey, I should have all of my clients together and then put you guys in, my own special family so everybody knows who's aligned. Everyone has that conscious energy around them that allows us to vibe with people of our own experience. On the selfish reason, I wanted to have a place where I could lovingly market to you guys as well, collect things like testimonials, reviews. You guys can type them. If you type me one, I really appreciate you. If you go live, I absolutely appreciate you. If you drop a video in there, I would be just so grateful. It helps me in my marketing, and it makes for a really cool video because when I put them all together and I make this 3-minute mashup, it just looks so good. And I'm like, if I'm not ever not having a good day, I just go in there and I'm watching this and I'm like, I feel like I can do everything. So I appreciate you guys. And it's crazy the things people say, oh my God, it's you know me, and then he gets you, and you know me better than I know myself. And I'm like, I'm so blessed. Because I'm like, no, I don't. Your numbers just say this about you. It's just something that's a technology that we read, but I like to think that I kind of go into the spiritual world with it a little bit, and I kind of surf that spiritual cloud with you guys. So super blessed to have you guys here. It's just a wonderful time to really I was thinking about this because you guys have been hearing me talk live. You guys have been catching the message. And if you haven't, then wow, you're going to hear some pretty powerful stuff tonight. But some pretty cool things have been going down, right? And I felt once a month, I want to come out to you guys. I want to share things with you, do things with you guys, give you guys an opportunity to have exclusive training, and also give you a place to showcase your voice. Because at some point, years down the road, your team is going to see this, or you're going to have grown into the leader that grows a really powerful organization. And it'd be nice to look back to think these are our humble beginnings when we were all just doing Zooms in our basements, on our beds, and, before we were all super crazy big time. And it's nice to think that we can all really create a family here. This is what really makes it all go down. I remember before, for those of us who are in the GPM, GAS, and Magic, all that stuff, before it was all that online stuff, we literally went to someone's house on a Tuesday afternoon and just hung out, a group this size, just all squished in with each other around the couch with our notepads, taking training on how to be an entrepreneur. And to think now that we got all corners of Australia, all corners of Canada, all corners of the States, there's everybody here inside of this really wonderfully super, for me anyway, because you guys are all my people. And, to think that this is a really super emotional place for me to collect you guys, I'm super grateful. So I appreciate you guys so much, especially for the things that have been going on lately. I had a lot of bad news today. A lot of bad news today. I heard things I didn't want to hear. People that I love are going through very difficult times. A lot of people are like, Bobby, we need to chat. We need to have a session. We need to have a thing. And I'm like, guys, I have to go and do a really loving, feel-good meeting in a few hours here. And people that I love are no longer together, and it's happening to a few of my friends of mine all at the same time, and I'm like, it hurts, but I'm comforted knowing that what's happening in the universe right now is of purpose, divine destiny. It's supposed to go down, and that can be one of the most difficult things that we really have to accept and realize, is that you don't really have the plan. It's God's plan, if you want to look at it that way. We get a chance to just be a piece and a part of it. So I'm not worried because I know that I've survived everything in my life up to this point. So I know that, if you're going through anything or going through anything super crazy, that you're in a really safe space right now. It's a really safe space right now. When I do a group session or a group meeting, especially something like this is super exclusive and private, right? I'm doing a group session. Everyone's kind of huddled together. Everyone's arm to arm around the fire or around someone, and we're passing healing. We're basically passing healing, and as I'm telling this person's story, and they're just having the experience, and then other people are seeing it, and they're having their own version of their own experience as a spectator. a lot of this stuff gets to lift and gets to really move forward as well. So just by listening to these words at the same time, guys, and spending this time and energy with me, I hope that's enough. But if you do want to go in further, I don't mind. I do not mind. I thought to myself, I was like, masterminding with my mind, with myself today, thinking, what's this going to look like today? Like, what are we going to do? I wanted to have a few of you spiritual types, my sages, my gurus, my teachers, you guys that are here to maybe share 2 to 5 minutes or 2 to 3 minutes or maybe even just 1 minute, 30 seconds, a few words, drop it in the chat about what the hell has been going on. Like, holy crap. If anyone else knows what I'm talking about, it's like the biggest challenges, the biggest difficulties, the biggest blocks. It's like, is there something that says the biggest in front of everything that has to happen right now, where it has to be like this monumental soul-shifting change, and all of this stuff is happening. And I like to think that's a few of us that are kind of like surfing this wave right now. That a few of you guys come to mind. And if there are more of you here and I'm just not recognizing you, please don't be offended. But I know Angelique has been on game. I know Craig has been on game. And I'm not sure the whereabouts of everyone else. I know Tanis is always good for something. I know that Karen is always good for something. I know that you guys are definitely, and Carly, always good for something as well. I know you guys are always, 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 always good for something, right? But I've been paying attention to a few of the people that show up in my life that, like Angelique's been just like consistently feeding me astrological information. And I'm like, huh. And it just makes so much sense. Like, you just go through it in your head and it just makes so much sense. Because I'm sitting here like, is there something going on up there? And Angelique's like, yeah. And this feeling is there, right? So I'd love it if you felt called to express a little bit of awareness of what you are, like Carly's saying, we are in an epic retrograde and energy shift right now. See, so maybe Carly, you may want to say something about this and tell us what this looks like from your perspective in the planet. Bring on August. Yeah. See, I'm a little scared, but at the same time, Did I just read that? Angelique's like, it's going to be tough. Are you kidding me right now? Like, I don't know. That's what I thought. But, I'm thinking, hey, I'm ready for the battle. I'm ready for the growth. I'm ready for the shift. It can be a scary thing, but sometimes you got to look your vision dead in the face and be like, I am not messing around. I am going to get it. I'm going to get it. I'm going to make it happen. Whatever needs to happen is going to happen. And it's Christmas. I've been good. So Santa better be coming with my gifts and stuff. But I'm really, really looking forward to getting a little bit of insight from some of you guys. And if you feel like you have something to offer, would absolutely love it if you wanted to shine in on that. On the other side, I would love it if everybody wanted to say hi. If someone wanted to perhaps maybe share a little bit about what's been going on. You're like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I'm crushing ranks. I'm crushing my business. My life has never been better. And I'm like on both sides here. Because on one side of my life, things are going super amazing. But on another side of my life, I don't know if you guys know me or not, but I kind of like hold people's energy. So in doing so, I have experienced a lot of sadness alongside the people that I love, care about. I'm going through it with them. So you guys helping me through it is a nice way of me helping them through it and all. I just like to think that we're going to share some really powerful information today. And because of the words and the mastermind that we create, there will be healing. And if you need some, you are more than welcome to unmute yourself and say, I got nothing good to say. I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm in a super shady place. I don't get it. Why me? You have a safe space to do, to do just that. So in case you do feel like something's coming up, if you want to help teach, if you need help learning, or if you just even want to share what big wins you've been accomplishing, man, that would be so super cool. So I'm just going to take a look at this and make sure I've got some of this stuff here. So Carly's mentioning an epic retrograde. So Carly, if you feel like enlightening us on enlightening the lightning, give us the lightning. And then also, yeah, so you've unmuted. How's it going?
Hey!
How are you, my magical sister?
I am doing pretty good. Just trying to get away from the kids at the moment.
Good luck. They're like everywhere. So, like,
Yes. Yeah, so we've got our Mercury retrograde happening now. It's in Leo, so it's that big fire sign that's about getting shit done, basically. And from what I'm experiencing, it's about really stepping into yourself and getting everything that you've pushed aside, finally stepping up and doing all the work that you've been, putting away from it. So everything uncomfortable is going to just get thrown at you from now till about the end of July so that August you can blossom and be this epic new being.
oh, yeah. Yes. See, there has to be some good news coming out somewhere. You know, you have to have that good news. And for me,
Yeah.
I'm like, please challenge. I'm done. I'm ready. I've been through this. I don't mind a good challenge. I'm gonna grow. And when you say things like that, I'm like, no wonder I feel so fierce about this. Like I really like know that this is gonna go down. And yeah, so I appreciate that. Anything to add? Anything that we need to know? Is there anything that's kind of like be prepared for? Or what did we just go through? I'm not sure. Is there anything else that you need to add to that?
Be tender on yourself. As much as this is about being fierce, it's also about going deep and loving yourself again, healing old wounds. Like, I know for me at the moment, I'm really going deep into my mother and father like wounds and going into that paternal generational healing that I need. And that's what this is sort of about as well. So that's where that fierceness comes in as well, is having that trust in yourself to know that you can get through it and keep on pushing, because it's fucking hard. Like, it is really hard going through this shit. But it the end result is going to be so much better if you do it now rather than keeping on delaying it.
You've grown a lot. You've grown a lot. Do you feel it? You feel it, right?
Yeah.
Since we've had our time together, so many cool things have shifted. But I actually went through my, I don't know, do I call it my parental? I think I had parental and maternal. What was it? No, paternal and maternal. I had
Yeah.
both lineages basically attack me. Not attack me, but like my own story of my ego in both directions, depending on who I talked to and what time I was. I healed down both timelines. It was crazy. This is like May or April or March or something. So a couple of months ago, I basically went through that journey myself. And if you have the opportunity to do something like this, I recommend Kyle King. She's a really good force of absolute crazy nature that helped me. Craig Ahoy also really put in something really strong for me. These are people that I would be like, you may want to go down there and you may want to take a guide. You may want to go down there and you may want to take a friend with you. Obviously, you guys have already been down with my conversation as well through numerology. We get a chance to see this, but I believe that there is more. And especially when I go under the knife and I'm like, okay, Craig, what are we doing here? Or I went with Kyle and basically she helped me through a lot of stuff as well. I feel like it's a good place to grow. So just so we know, I do recommend you have that conversation. And maybe it's even with Carly, you felt like it was really divine. I'm not sure if you do anything like that where you kind of go into past lines or regression or anything.
I'm doing emotional release therapy. I'm looking at releasing something at the moment, and I'm doing NLP work, so belief shifts. So if anyone's after that, I will be starting to offer that to people soon. I'm just putting in final touches.
Cool.
So yeah.
Keep me in mind when you need to broadcast that out. I would love to have a longer chat. What else you have to offer, okay?
Yeah, awesome. Thanks.
Okay, cool. So I did hope for a few of you guys to come out. So if it's okay, maybe I can grab Angelique if you don't mind, and then because I know a few of you guys are going to want to say some stuff. So if I can, I do make sure I want to get Angelique to help us set the bar, and then I'd love for my boy Craig to throw in the gauntlet as well. And then Tanis, if you don't mind, I'd love for you to really shine in on your perspective of what's going on. But Angelique, is it okay if I unmute you? So you've been feeding me some stuff in the last little while. There's been some information that's been coming through. You've personally activated, I don't know if you want to talk about that, about what's been happening in the burst that you've been going through. because I like to think that you're in a really solid place in one direction, but also we don't know if there's other stuff being pulled out of you that's challenged. So
The generational stuff has been very, very crazy. Starting the end of June is when I went through a lot of that. And it was just not even something I was intending. It was just like in the middle of the night. And I went way back, even into past lives. And I think it might have been early this month even, that there's been lots of just random old wounds and emotions, things that I thought have been dealt with, but needed to go deeper. And it's not just myself. It is coming up everywhere. I think this, not just the retrogrades, but with the eclipse energy, which that hangs with us for like 6 more months. And we have the solar storms hit today and tomorrow, starting for the next several days. Those can cause flu-like symptoms. People get really physically sick. It's a good time to detox, but like Harley said, be gentle with yourself. Lots and lots of water. Thank God we have good water. But I've had to do that in this last couple of weeks. Yes, I know. I have a big one around here somewhere, but I just got home. I've been on the road for 9 hours today with a grandbaby, 3 grandbabies in the car. I just finally got the 8-month-old to sleep right before this call. He was not a happy camper.
my little boy just woke up right before the call. What happened? So he was like crying because he's like, "Why are you guys not like waking me up when this time? Thanks, hour." So he likes to be part of the fam.
Right.
So do you know? This was, I guess, a bit of a specific question because people are talking about this generational stuff. Things are basically unhooking. We're looking at old things coming up. The words like past lives, unbelievable struggle, toughest times, people breaking up, all this stuff. You said that a lot of these planets are also moving away from us. So what is that? Is there a way to like define what that's supposed to mean?
That's beyond my scope. That's where my direction is, because I want to learn a lot more deeply about that.
Okay.
But I know, I feel it. I just can't always explain everything.
Well, you're still being shined a light. And I'll tell you something. You don't need to know how a cell phone works in order to use a cell phone. You don't need to know how a car works in order to drive one. Actually, you kind of need to know a little bit about how a car works.
Oh, yeah, true. That night that I went through and went way back, it was just all intuitive. I just got back into my Reiki 2 certification and been playing with my crystals a lot more. And it was just, Spirit was telling me this is what you need to do. And I used my crystals and I used the Reiki. And, when I get insomnia, there's a reason for it. And so I have to start asking questions.
Right.
Because if I'm not sleeping and my ears are ringing so loudly that I can't sleep, there's just too much energy going on. And otherwise I just suffer. So I might as well just face it.
Well, and I appreciate you for your vision ramblings.
Yes.
You go to sleep and you just need to just unload. It's a really good thing. I appreciate you absolutely and just feeding me this info, because it really just made so much sense. As soon as I saw it, I was like, that's
well, you see it all over your feeds and everybody's like, what is going on? And Facebook was broken the other day and it's like, well, duh, we have these solar storms coming through and, it makes sense. But there's just
and the thing is that it brings so much topic to the conversation to think, what's the bigger mechanic here? Does anyone else feel like there's something bigger going on and that we're just kind of like wondering and figuring it out on our own, but really there's this bigger, gigantic version of us that's going on? So I appreciate you, Angelique, for coming out and really sharing that with us. Craig, if you don't mind, my bro, I really want to know, I'm just going to unmute you here. There you go. You got it?
Yeah. Hey,
Hey, brother. So I really wanted to talk to you and get your idea on this. And I was trying to be there for the thing yesterday. It was at midnight in my local time, so I was unfortunately a little bit unavailable to hang out with you guys while you did your activation. So I'd love to hear how that went. If any of you guys were there with that, if we got a replay coming up. And also, can you? I know that you got some light. I know that you got a little pocket of sunshine. Can you shine some of it for us in this movement of energy that we're experiencing right now?
It's, I think one of the things to realize is that you're just not alone. And there's often comfort just in knowing that. And self-compassion and just space to be, and not necessarily to be in your head. And there's a few little things that have sort of come into some of my activations just over the past couple of weeks. You know, my stuff's constantly evolving as well, but at the same time, in this flesh suit, in this reality, I also feel it's important not to give your power away either. Not to completely say, you know, oh, it's all astrological, I'm just going to go to bed for a month. You know, to actually manifest out of it. To what is it that you want to come out of this? If you're being given challenges, when you push through them or when you grow through them, you get this greater self-worth because you went through it, you pushed through it, you grew from it. So it's this duality, you know, it's the duality that a lot of us are offered. Do we retreat? And you know, all this stuff's coming up for me as well. And you know, do I go back to teaching? Do I go back to teaching for a couple of days a week just to be able to get on top of a few things? Do I stay the course? Do I just push through with my mission? And even if it's going to cost, you know, more than just money, even if it's going to cost all sorts of other aspects of my 3D world. But it's showing up in all sorts of funny little ways as well. You know, I got a cold a couple of weeks out of the blue. It's just like, what? What? I haven't been sick like this for ages. Just what's going on? And I've been eating really well, you know, and then all of a sudden, out of eating really, really well, you go and you buy a white chocolate mud cake, and you say, what? What did I do that for? You just, yeah, because this goes really great with a raw vegan detox, you know, raw vegan detox and white chocolate mud cake. They just go hand in hand, you know, they're really, really helpful. There's, in some of the circles that I'm in, and yeah, it could just be that, you know, the way social media dynamics work and algorithms work, that I'm just seeing the stuff that I'm interested in. But there's a lot of people with quantum activation abilities who are starting to give it out freely, quite freely. And what a lot of it's about, there's a lot of people that believe that we are in the true age of Aquarius, where energies are changing altogether. And what that means in reality is that there's a lot of feminine energy in it. That's why you see, like in a lot of businesses, it's feminine energy that's ruling the way. It's feminine energy that's smashing it, entrepreneurial. There's a lot of men's groups that are retreating back to this, you know, masculine, like hunter-gatherer, I'm going to go out and kill a woolly mammoth. And my intuition around that is that some of those guys are actually going to struggle a little bit with how that power dynamic and how that fight or flight survival mode, I'm going to get rich no matter who I crush, that sort of mentality, you know, or look, another woolly mammoth, oh, I'm going to kill that one too. That sort of mentality isn't what we need in this next phase of humanity on the planet. That we actually need to embrace more of our femininity and more of this collegiality and more of this group dynamic, and there's no accidents around this stuff. You know, Facebook becoming more community orientated as opposed to individual brand orientated. There's no accidents. It's all happening for a reason, and that there is elements of this stuff that's going to lift all of us. I guess for guys in particular, you know, where do we slot into it? You know, especially if you're someone like me, and I think you might not mind me saying that, you know, someone like you as well, Bobby, where we sort of fall between the cracks. You know, we're not masculine, we're not feminine either. You know, maybe this is the place for the rise of a new type of masculinity of some sort. And, you know, within all that, not to be too triggered by either, like all the ugh men, and then all the power women as well, and the women in their power and being beautiful and shedding the light. But where do we fit into that? You know, I was on a mentor group the other day. They're actually on a live call now, and one of them was all about alter egos and stuff like this, and putting red lipstick on. And, well, how do I relate to that? You know, what's my version of red lipstick? I could put red lipstick on too, but it doesn't quite sort of work. You know, it's not authentic for me. But coming back to the activations, though, I think a lot of it is also around just starting to realize and switch off our logical brains, because a lot of our logical brain is all around that fight or flight mode. It's around survival. It's around, you know, how do I pay my rent? How do I put food on the table? How do I, you know, how do I do this sort of stuff? And the opposite of that is surrender. And that's where it gets really, really scary. How do you switch off from needing to control everything, but still take action and still take steps towards your goals? How do we do all of those things from this beautiful state of surrender and high vibration? So a lot of these activations are around doing that. And a big part of it for me is starting to acknowledge that once we've switched that brain off, that there are so many other ways that the human can actually take in information and learn and be and expand and grow and influence and be abundant. You know, that our 3D reality, our physicality, is only one aspect of ourselves. There's so many others. And as soon as we switch off that there's only one way to do things, as soon as we actually become receptive to opening our heart and even dropping into soul and asking questions of soul, really simple things, and processing stuff in a unique way, not processing it up here, but processing it right down in your soul. Well, I was triggered by that. Well, why was I triggered by that? What is it that my soul really wants? What is it that my soul is trying to tell me? What is it that you want? Deep down inside, what is it that you want? What are you trying to get my attention with? Someone was really successful in their business. Why is it that you're envious? Oh, it's because you want that too. Well, why do you want that too? Because you want validation. Well, why do you want validation? Because you want to be loved. So the answer is, if I give you love, thanks for that, I got some love. You know, when you process some of those things, a big part of it is you still got to feel it. You've still got to feel these things. It's like I said, you know, we could just go to bed for a month if you wanted to, and then you could wake up and hope that your world hasn't fallen apart around you. But has that really empowered you? Or have you just become a recluse and hidden away until, you know, or have you literally worked your way through it? Have you risen through it? Have you got processes through it? Have you sought a guide that can help see some of this stuff? You know, we were talking about some multi-generational things before. And one of my mentors is, you know, it's gone completely left field for me. When as soon as you start talking about multi-generational, that's fine in this human existence. But what happens when you start to actually look at incarnations that weren't even on this planet? You know, are you even open or receptive to ideas like that? Incarnations that are tens of thousands of years old, that you're still carrying wounds, and it sounds logically, it sounds illogical. He says, what are you talking about? But when you go there and when you're guided there and when the visions come through and they're crystal clear, like there's just like, oh yeah, I can see where that happened. You know, when you start accessing this field of infinite possibilities, when we start accessing the fact that there's so much in this universe that we will never understand, and our logical mind will never, ever, ever, ever understand. But what happens if our heart can, and what happens if our soul can, and what happens if there's aspects of ourself that is completely receptive to it? You know, how does a whale, for example, know when it's time to migrate thousands and thousands and thousands of kilometers when all they can really see is 20 meters either side of them? How do they know to do that? How do tiny little birds know to migrate thousands and thousands of kilometers? How do they know when it's time to do that? Because they're getting information from things that are bigger than themselves. They're open to that. And this might be really left field for a lot of people, but when you just open up the possibilities and collapse tension, your world gets a lot bigger. You know, Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about that all this stuff, this physical shit that we think matters, our physical body, stuff, crystals, money, rocks, houses, holidays, all of these physical, tangible things, they make up something like 0.00001% of everything that there is in the universe to know, and everything that there is. And I think what puts it into perspective is that if you take the nucleus of an atom, if that's the size of an apple, then the molecule that's actually running around that, the next particle, is something like the size of a grain of salt or a grain of sugar, and it's about 2 kilometers away. So there's all this void space. What happens when we start to actually realize that the void is something, and that tension and the energy that holds them together is actually something? What happens to the 0.00001% when we start to realize that the 99.99999 actually has a shitload of stuff to offer us? Even if we can just take a tiny little percentage of that 99.99999, how big does the 0.00001 actually get to become? So yeah,
Talking to you is like an activation, man. Like you're like listening to this guy, like just like help you to open up your mind. You're like, it's crazy, man. You're like kaleidoscopic, and I appreciate you so much sharing that with us and sharing. You know, it's just so cool because how many people were feeling the thing inside of them, the story inside of them, the shift inside of them, their own personal experience. Because you were saying that logical mind just doesn't know how to process out of world, 10,000 years old, off planet. Like some of these things our brain has never figured out before, but it does have an experience from childhood. It does have an experience from puberty, or has an experience from, you know, when things happen to them in business or in life. And for people to really go through that with you, you're a wizard, man. You're an absolute wizard. And you say things like you literally like weave this magnetic pattern in for people. So I knew I'd keep you around for a really, really good reason, man. Like you're just all jokes. No, man, you're an absolute angel. I appreciate you, Craig, for being here, my good man.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So I want to go. I'm going to move on now to Tanis. And Tanis said here that I could say something's going on. Well, I was on vacation at a rough moment and asked the universe to help me. And what I asked for came. So that's a pretty powerful feel. I'm not sure, Tanis, if I can. I'm just going to see if I can find you here. Where are you? iPhone Tanis. There you are. I'm not sure if I can tell people about how weaved into the universe you are based on how much loss you've had to endure. But I think that might have just told everybody. But I would love to hear your thoughts and hear what you have to offer in terms of what happened in that rough moment. What did you feel called to share with us?
I was on vacation, and of course, when we go on vacation, we take our business with us. And I was struggling trying to actually juggle the business and juggle time for my vacation. And I was really having a hard time. Like I would get upset if I felt I didn't have enough time to complete what I was trying to work on before, because I would get up really early, and so that I could fit in what I wanted to fit in before my husband would get up, so that we would start on our vacation time during the day. And I was just so I was so frustrated with my business that I felt like it wasn't moving. It wasn't going in the direction I wanted it to go in. And the other part of me that, you know, that life coach, trying to figure out how to coach myself baloney, because it wasn't working. Trying to coach myself into believing that there's reasons why, you know, things are not connecting. And then I was almost in tears, and I was asking, like, I literally spoke out loud with tears to the universe, like, can you please just help me find something that's going to help me get through this and work towards the goals I actually have, because I'm feeling like you're just blocking me. Like I need something. And I just really wanted to hear something. see something, get something. I don't know. I wanted a sign that they were listening. And that very day, and this is the weirdest thing in the whole wide world, you sent me a message. It just popped up. And when I listened to the message, I listened to it in the evening. I had tears. I was overjoyed. I was over honored. I was everything. And I'm thinking, this is what is coming to me. This was the message. This was what is showing me that the universe is listening to me and I'm going in the right direction. I'm doing the right things. I'm just not allowing myself to be patient enough. And I've been patient for quite a while, but I need to be more patient and have more quiet moments for more to come to me. And excuse me, I've been fighting an illness as well. I was sick for several weeks, and I just can't seem to get rid of the cough either. Pardon me. And it's just, like when you say things are going kind of crappy at this point in time, I'd say that, yeah, they were, but it's pushing me to find the solutions to get past the crappy.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that the universe exists. If I can take a moment and explain a small little story. The long weekend in May, I took a vacation and I went out to Kelowna. And then I went to Penticton. But when I went to Kelowna, I put out a message to everyone that lived in the Kelowna area that I was coming and I would love to connect and get together and have coffee. Up until the day I was leaving, not a single person reached out to me and said they wanted to meet with me. And I was really disappointed. But then one person did. And that person picked me up at the airport, took me to her home, explained she wouldn't be there for the weekend, but I could use the house for the weekend and just be there. And she was sure people would come visit me there. Well, no one came to visit me there. And I was feeling pretty crappy by that point, thinking like nobody wants to talk to me. Nobody, that poor pity party me. I was doing that for a few moments. And then a watch party came on. And I had no idea what a watch party was, but I clicked on it. And I was watching this lady in, I don't know if it was New Zealand, Australia. She was at some type of symposium where they had to spend the weekend creating a charity and raising money online to fund this charity. And the subject or the charity they picked was men in suicide. And Bobby, you know my history behind this. I was watching this lady as she talked about it, and she talked about her experiences and things that were going on in her life and blah, blah, blah. I had immense tears coming down. I was feeling what she was feeling. I understood what she was feeling because I had witnessed, not actually witnessed, but I had a friend who died by suicide, but I had found his body and I had a really tough time getting through that. And I had some unfinished business with him. And Bobby and I had talked about this. And that night, I phoned my friend who recommended I watch this watch party and asked her what was she thinking, first of all. And then I explained to her the emotions I had and what I was feeling while this lady was going through all this stuff and how overwhelmed I was. And I explained to her the conversation you and I had had unfinished business with my friend. So that night I sat down and I wrote a letter to him. And I had that coaching session with him that he should have taken the day before he killed himself. And I hashed it out. And then I burned the letter. And I felt better. And I went to go downstairs to go to bed in this empty house that I've never stayed in before. And the blankets that were sitting on a shelf were actually thrown on the floor. Like there was no reason why that they should have fallen on the floor. I was creeped out. I had been on the deck. I went and checked the front door to make sure it was locked, to make sure nobody was in the house. I put the blankets back and I went to bed. And I know I wasn't asleep yet. but I had my eyes closed and I was sort of drifting, but I was awake. This voice said, "Step out of the box. Step out of the box." Twice in a male voice that I did not recognize. And I shot up like I don't know what. And there was nobody there. I turned the light on. There was nobody there. There was nobody in the house. And for weeks, I was thinking about what had been said to me. And yesterday I phoned my friend because it was the anniversary of my friend's death. And I phoned my girlfriend, who had also found his body with me. And she was a mess. Me, I was okay. And by the time we got off the phone, she was fine. She felt a lot better after our conversation. But I had told her this story about what happened. And she said, "Do you want to know something?" I said, "What?" She said, "When you and Lyndon worked together and you had to come up with ideas and things for our clients, he kept saying, 'I have to figure out how to step outside the box. Step outside the box.'"
Wow.
I had no idea he said that to her, and he would say that to her all the time. But that was the message I got after I burned my letter. And that was the most freakiest thing ever. And then yesterday, Liz telling me this story about him saying that to her, I had no idea. And that was the message I was given. It was like surreal.
That's unbelievable. For me, I feel like that's like it's a really nice confirming sign that I'm not crazy. When Tana says stuff like this, I'm like, see, it happens to other people too. And to think and for any of you guys who are wondering what I sent her, I'm actively looking for leaders. I'm actively looking for my legacy leadership. And it's in the bubbling right now. But if you haven't gotten the message quite yet, please let me know, and I will absolutely share with you the type of things I'm looking to collaborate with. But if these are for my leaders, the people who want to stand in front, they want to say things to people, and they're not afraid to pick up the gift and say, look, I can help someone. So that's why, Tanis, that you got that message from me, is because I know you're picking it up. I know that you picked it up. I know that you've said, I'm going to help people. And that was one of your biggest calls. And lo and behold, the real world stuff. Like, we're not talking about, hey, buy a program, your life will be better after this. We're talking about actual people dying and actual people hearing things because they need to support people getting better. And it's crazy, because I like to think that just because you're no longer with us doesn't mean you don't need help from us. Or just because you're no longer here doesn't mean the people around you can't, benefit from you. So absolutely so cool. Those things are so normal in my life. Angelique, thanks for just dialing it down on me and Pat. Okay, that's a big experience for me, and it's super prophetic. Greg, you've unmuted yourself. You wanted to add in?
Yeah, there was a few things coming up in that as well, that and I think it really comes back to us as individuals starting to normalize things that we're not familiar with, and allowing that to be okay, and even monitoring how we speak about things. Like when we say things are spooky or crazy or freaky, then we start to contract away from them, instead of saying, oh, that was really, really unique. That was a unique, or that was an amazing experience. As soon as we say the difference between amazing and crazy, well, sometimes, yeah, crazy can be good, but generally speaking, crazy is, marginalized, as opposed to saying amazing, that's more, energetic and attracting. But I could really relate to what Tanis was talking about as well, when she was saying that she was looking for something. And then for a few weeks there, I was just grasping at all these shiny objects. Or here's a program, or here's a course, or here's a live, here's this, and here's that. And before I knew it, I started to count up. I think I was in something like 14 different groups that all required interaction, 14 different Facebook groups and management. And I'm like, what the fuck are you thinking about? How can you possibly interact with all of them? And then something else will pop up. Oh, my own calendar. Oh, okay, that looks really interesting. What? And you'll let me do it for free? Yeah, cool, awesome, I'll do that. So that'll be 15. What are you doing? You know, and I think part of it was all about just trying to fill that void, that I had an awareness that something was missing. But ultimately, the answer was not external. The answer was internal. And it was all about that soul connection. And that's what's starting to come through in a lot of these activations. You know, I'm just called to drop in sneaky little things that'll just connect people deeper with their soul. And for some people, it's like a first-time connection. It's like, oh, fuck, there you are. I didn't even know I had a soul. I didn't even know it was in there. I didn't even know I could talk to you. I just thought it was left field stuff. I just thought that was bizarre stuff, or you connect with your soul when you're dead or something like that.
Right.
No, it's actually there. And I even start to, I used to talk a lot about gut instinct, and I'm even starting to use the word soul instead of gut. That the soul is literally there. It is there, and it's in place. And when we open up to that field of infinite possibilities, and we do it through our soul, and we allow our soul to connect to that, a lot more stuff starts to come through. And when we're open to where answers can come from and how answers can come from, and in some of my activations as well, I'm dropping little things in there that encouraging people that they can actually have guides, and they do have guides, and you can have connections with them, and it might come in all sorts of different ways. Could be like, a kiss on the cheek, just a sensation. It could be, like a tap on the shoulder. It could be a random word that just jumps into your head. It could be any of those things. It could be an odd reflection. It could be numbers. It could be, and just your logical mind doesn't even have to know what the fuck they are. Your logical mind doesn't, it's not a message for your logical mind. It's for your soul from the universe that doesn't speak English, that doesn't speak logic, that doesn't speak all these things. And if we're waiting for a signal or a sign from our logical fucking mind,
Not gonna happen.
then we're missing out. We're missing out on all these. You guys are saying, for fuck's sake, I've sent you 57 messages. You haven't received any of them yet. What have I got to do to you? What have I got to do? But you can actually ask for this stuff. You can say, I'm okay, soul, I'm ready to connect with my guides now. I want you to show me. I want you to leave breadcrumbs. I want you to leave me clear symbols, clear indicators that you're with me and that you've got me. I want to know what my next step is. Can you drop me a word? What should I do next? And be open to the word. It doesn't matter how unique it is or how foreign it is to you. When you open it and when you accept, oh, that's an interesting word. Can you elaborate? Well, what would my next step be? What would I do next? How would I go about this? Yeah.
It's crazy. It was today at right when I put the 15 minutes to drop, and I just got out of the meditation. I put my Muse headband. If you guys don't know, Muse is this cool thing, measures your brain. It's a nice kind of like toy. It's a nice little meditation thing. And I'm sitting there and I'm kind of drifting off in thought. And as I'm about to get out of I'm like, oh, I wonder how long it's been. I feel this sensation of like what Craig was saying. Maybe it's a kiss on the cheek. And when you said that, I was like, what? Craig, that was you. You kissed me on the cheek. I felt a kiss on the cheek on my face. And then I was like, I opened my eyes and then my phone went ding. Like the 10 minutes was up. Like all in one perfect, cool little sequence. Candace has one. Very, very strong, very, very powerful. I was just like brought to God in that moment thinking, wow. You know, like sometimes you try to figure it out and the brain tries to figure it out, but you can't. And it was funny you were saying how you wanted to start calling the soul, the gut, the soul, because I was thinking, I'm like, perfect segue to ask Karen to like share with us, if you're okay to do that. In about 4 minutes, I'm going to go through. Basically, it's 5:55 my local time in 4 minutes. Okay, now I've been here from 11:11, 12:12, 1:11. I set my alarm for this stuff. So today's been a 7/7 day, and I'm very paying attention to the fact that I'm like, okay, I want to move. I want to change. a lot of people are probably feeling the same thing. They don't want to be stuck in the place anymore. They don't want to have to go through what they're going. Like a lot of this stuff that Craig, you got me like just on edge, just feeling like there's value here for you to grow, and it's being given to you in the form of Craig, right? Like you're helping us. The same thing I'm doing, we're all doing here. But this value is to think, what are your, and you don't have to broadcast this. If you guys don't want to share your story, I know a few of you guys have put it in here. Shannon saying how stubborn you are. Hey, great. That's awesome. Someone else said it was the biggest struggle. It was Vicky. And then, what else? Jody says rock bottom year. This feeling was like, okay, we're all remembering and coming into focus of all of this stuff inside of us that may have at one point protected, may have at one point served a purpose. It could have done that. At this point now, we're looking at what needs to go, what needs to get out of here so that I can burn the letter, as Tana says. How do I experience this energy, or I'll be aware of what kind of small change in the infinite void is going to have a dramatic, like 100% change in my physical reality. Unbelievable to be able to say that. And I wanted to share this with you guys as this sort of comes through, to sort of like take all of that inventory of yourself and your heart and your life. You're looking at the bookshelf of your existence. This is your trophy case. You put your very first kiss in there. You put your very first car, or whatever's important for you to really define who you are. And then you start noticing on it, there's some black spots. There's some stuff in there that got burned. There's some stuff that fell. There are some pieces you wish weren't there. You're looking at this like, I don't even know whose that is. And you're looking at your life being like, what did I do with this? What did I eat? What did I drink? What did I think? What story did I buy? What challenge did it result in me? How am I dealing with 10,000-year-old off-planet energy? How did I get there? And I mean, as much as I absolutely love what Craig is saying about, the logical mind is just missing the point. The whole part of being human is the logic. It's our brain. So for us, we've got a mountain to climb, because I'm like, he's right, you can't really take it on with the logical mind. You have to open up your heart. And everyone's like, I don't even know. My heart's like the strongest muscle there is. It's my brain that's weak. It's the brain that's a piece of fat. The heart's the strongest muscle. How am I supposed to feel something? I got to think my way through everything. So in case you're in that state, as we go through 555 at this point, you have my permission to guillotine that stuff out. To guillotine is like literally snipe. There you go. Right there. Right as I said that. Snipe. And you don't have to let this thing bother you anymore. You get a chance to choose. You get a chance to, as I was saying on my live earlier, gutting yourself out, being like, this stuff gotta go. It gotta go. And now what we get a chance to do, another really cool little shift gateway, like a gateway of movement, gets a chance to actually say, bring in that sunlight, bring in that challenge, bring in that shift. And it even comes down straight up to gut health. And I remember after talking to Karen, I believe it was after we talked, was not because of you. It was you were another piece of the puzzle. But I got my colonics done. I actually got the vacuum up the bum. I got my hydrocolonics done 3 sessions worth, and started cleaning myself from the inside out. And I was just like, boom, beaming. And I remember when we had our conversation, you like played on my soul strings with some of the stuff you were saying. You even started doing it again with your like, oh, chocolate's a thing. I'm like, oh, Karen, you're pulling it out now. You're telling people about this stuff. And I would love for you to share with the audience or with people, Karen, you're a therapy nutritionist or a therapeutical nutritionist. How do you refer to yourself?
I'm a functional nutrition practitioner, and I focus on entrepreneurial health because spirit healers and people who do what you guys do can lead to having a lot of addictions in their lives for self-medication, whether that be through food, alcohol, drugs, sex. It could be that you're really needy. It could be a whole bunch of different things. And so what I do is help people to understand why that is, understand their own self-care, because we dish it out. We dish it out so much and then forget to be like, oh, right, shit. How about concentrate on myself? We do a lot of spiritual healing, but then there's a nutritional side of it. And nutritional doesn't just mean food and working out. It's as Bobby and Craig kept saying, like soul, gutting things out. Tanis was talking about, a lot of you guys are talking about past traumas for July. I had some stuff too come up. I found a journal that like July 1st, I found a freaking journal that I had written when I was like 13 years old, and it was a sad journal. It had stuff in there about a friend of mine who fell in an elevator shaft and died when I was 13, and I was like, oh my God, you know, these are all these emotions coming back up for me. And immediately I decided that these things weren't going to hold me down, because one thing that my clients and I have been going through are humility, tact, boundaries, and understanding that we, like caterpillars, enjoy grounding, but also enjoy the upliftingness of being a butterfly and going, and learning to appreciate all of the moments, not just appreciate it, but actually enjoy being in it. So health for me, I want to teach people to be able to enjoy the process of it. Everyone's in such a hurry. Like, I have to have this six pack. I have to have this income right now. I have to have this and this and this. Well, imagine all of that energy you're sucking up from the consumption all around us, wanting all of these things. It doesn't go anywhere. You just stay stagnant and confused. So when I was talking about the chocolate in the chat here, chocolate is something, like I said, about addiction, is a lack of love, a lack of being seen, a lack of being heard. We want that sweet spot. We want to be able to feel instant gratification. We talked a lot about patience earlier on in here. So, my cosmic friends, when you are in a moment and you are grabbing the foods or the drinks or whatever, and it's of a sweet consistency, ask yourself first, what happened in my day that I'm craving this? Was I not spiritually happy today? Was I not met on my level? Did I have conversations that hurt me? Did my week not go as planned? Did I not get the sale? Do I have mother issues? Do I have father issues? Do I have relationship issues? Did I get in an argument? Did I see a post of someone being negative and you're like, oh shit, I gotta go run to the dollar store and get some on sale candy because the holiday just passed? If you're feeling anxious and angry and frustrated and feeling like, oh, I quit, this is bullshit, like fuck everybody, today is stupid, I'm done, as Craig was saying, hide under their blankets, and you start craving crunchy foods, you're asking to be heard. So just say whatever you need to say out loud, write in a letter, burn it, whatever, but make sure you say it. I told Bobby, go into a forest and scream the most obscene obscenities that you have to, just to be heard. When we hold on to these things, our soul food, which is for you guys, people, communication, connection, it gets stomped the shit out of, and you become depleted and sad and depressed. As healers, it happens to healers a lot. Anyone in the public eye, it happens a lot for loneliness. You're not feeling heard, you're not feeling seen, so you're going towards the foods that make you feel that way. It's not a good look. It's not a good look for anybody. And so my clients lately, we just did a 30-day fast with a handful of my clients, and it wasn't just about food. It was fasting on your emotions. It was fasting on the shit in your cupboards. It was fasting on all of the stuff we're holding on to, because maybe the things that happened in our past, or ancestors, all of the things that we're craving now to like work through, maybe it's not to teach you a lesson. Maybe it's the fact that you just got to let that go and get behind the energy and go with the flow of what your soul is telling you. Sometimes there's not always a bigger message that like, oh my God, like Oprah and everyone gets a car. Sometimes it's not like that. Sometimes you just have to get behind it and flow with it and just let the things go. So you're not holding on to the food cravings. You're not holding on to the gut pains, the digestion issues, because we create our own diseases when we're holding on to too much of this stuff. We're creating our own disease. We have to let it go. If we can't let it go, migraines, headaches, vision problems, addictions, food cravings, arthritis, thyroid, cancer, right? As healers, teaching people messages and spiritual guidance, you have to also learn to guide your own energy, because you absorb energy. Let it go. Get behind it and let it go. And a lot of people go towards food for that. And soul food is consumption of the soul. And soul comes and goes. It's air. You maneuver through it. And that's what I teach, is the food wise of it, how addiction is. People look up to us so largely. They look up to us. We can do no wrong. We can have no problems. We cannot say anything wrong ever. We are powerful beings. That's a lot of pressure and a lot of stress on our shoulders.
Not to mention how embarrassing that is for me. Like, everything you said was like something that like bugs me. I've been going through, and I'm like, hey, wait, you're just reading notes from my session. And I realized, like,
I'm not.
I got it too. But it's so crazy. And that's why I absolutely just love your work, which definitely reminds me that we have got to collaborate on something. Absolutely. But
sure.
I would love to get your advice on, is there a way to, because everyone gets this, and I was wondering, is there a second level of, I would think, because you've given us the advice, don't fall into the addiction, stay with the emotion. But I'm also thinking that if I were to give you guys advice, and a few of them have already beat me to it, I need to connect with you, Karen. I'm like, yeah, or, I would absolutely recommend that you guys sit down with Karen and let her talk to you about what's going on with you for a little while. To absolutely have that conversation for sure. But is there anything else besides booking a session with you and staying with the feeling that you can recommend to someone who feels like they may be trapped? Because for me, I'm like, I'm going to blame it on my kids. I have my 2-year-old stole my chocolate, and then I found it in her room, and she's just sitting there eating it. And I'm like, well, I have to eat it now so that she doesn't eat it, because obviously it's not safe. The chocolate ain't safe. And, it wasn't like I needed a chocolate. I just was like, oh, shoot. I've got to share with my little baby girl, right? So super cute. You can't get mad at a 2-year-old when she steals the chocolate and just runs into her room. And she's just and I'm like, you're just clever. You're just a good little girl. And she was looking at me like, are you going to get mad at me? I'm like, not even. I can't. I'm just impressed. So, but is there, can you speak on that to see if there's anything else?
Yeah.
I know this is really hitting on heartstrings for a lot of people here.
Self-love. My company is called Love Always for a reason, because that is the number one way to soothe your soul, is to love on it, not love against it. Not looking for perfection, but understanding you are a human being. You are a caterpillar turning into a butterfly, and the more that you allow yourself to burn, the harder it is to get through things. Thinking that you have to suffer through something to get to the point is not necessary. You don't always have to suffer, but understand that you can cry, you can swear, you can scream, let the energy out. The more you hold on to something, the more it manifests within you, the more it harms you, the more you want. If I just get this, I will be okay. That's not just food, that's anything in life, instant gratification. Like I said earlier, to combat the cravings or the self-hatred or anything to do with self-harm, because essentially when we go towards the things that are instant gratification, it's self-harm, because we have to make up for something else. So understand that you're a human. Take a brain vacation. Don't think so hard on something. Tell yourself how much you make mistakes, and it's totally okay, because you're a human being and tomorrow's going to be better, or whatever. It was a mess up. It's cool, right? It's not the end of the world. Things are okay. I had this piece of chocolate, whatever, right? It tasted good. Awesome. I appreciate it. Now I can move on that I had it. You can give in to your cravings so long as you understand what that was for. Because once you realize what that craving was for, what you went towards something for, and you know why it triggered you, by being mindful of your self-love, you can combat all of that. You can get rid of it.
Preach. I love it. Absolutely love it. When I'm listening to you and I'm hearing this message, and I'm thinking, there are going to be some people watching this and listening to this later, and they've got tears in their eyes, and I'm feeling their tears move their energy for them. Because I like to think that I'm this really big, huge spiritual magnet of love, and if you're feeling something bad, I will hold that with you but I felt it. I could feel it. And I'm like, these aren't mine. I swear it's the onions. They're not my tears. I've worked through my stuff. And I'm feeling super blessed that I have. But at the same time, I can feel that tension, energy that happens underneath us, underneath some of us. That's like, man, this is like really heavy, hurtful stuff that I'm experiencing inside. And even to the point, I went to this conference a little while ago, and it was, I think it was in April. And we're all going around, and we had this picture of ourselves, and we had to look at ourselves and say something. And I'm like, I said this to a group of people. I'm like, I'm so embarrassed to say this, but I don't like this guy. And this was in April. And I'm like, I don't like the guy in this picture. I don't like myself. I'm too this, and I don't have a good relationship with me. And I'm glad that I've worked through all that, but it brought me back to that, to think, because if I saw that picture again, I'd be like, come here, you little, and like, you're going to be just fine. And it's okay if you don't like yourself as much as you should, because you're going to be okay. And like, and to honestly know that I would pull back that memory and say that, it makes me feel like your work really has helped me, as well as everyone else's here. But so super powerful. I appreciate you, Karen. Love to invite you for an in-depth interview on this when we have some more time, for sure.
Bet.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Now, I wanted to open this space up a little bit. There could be someone else inside of this now that may have something insightful and contributing to the conversation, as in, here's what I know and what I've been thinking and feeling in these last sort of energetic waves. If there isn't anyone left on the positive side of the conversation, I wanted to take a dive, and just in case anyone wanted to sacrifice themselves and be like, look, I'm not feeling good. I'm going through something. I'm having a challenge. It doesn't always need to be positive. I promise you, if there's anyone on that side of the conversation, you're going to help a lot of people by going through it with us and having your chance of having like a panel of masters that basically help people all day long for a living to help them get through their thing. What have you been going through? What is this most unbelievable struggle? Do you need to ask about it? Would we like to? Jody, if you want, I don't mind because you just basically put it out there. If I can read this, or if you want, you can unmute yourself and say this yourself, if you wish to. Otherwise, I'll let you interrupt me. But it says here, she's like, I lost my son in 2007 and did a good job of bottling that up and not grieving. It all came out this year when I was first asked what I learned from that. I was pissed. What I learned for that, I was pissed. Holy shit, I kid you not. When I sought healing and discovered my lesson and learned that he's okay, a huge weight was lifted, and spiritual energy has grown. You've unmuted, so can you weigh in on this? I would love to hear your thoughts on this for people dealing with loss.
Yeah, I didn't realize that I didn't really grieve, I guess because it was too painful at the time. So I bottled it up and kept working and going on with life and really tried not to think about it. And then I joined GAS, and every time I went near a computer, everything kept crashing. Like I could say if I was on a Zoom with, my upline or any of the group stuff, they'd have all these glitches. And then, the joke was, don't let Jody go near a computer. She causes these meltdowns. And then they said, that's your block. You need to be unblocked. So, I went for healing thinking, well, I need to fix my computer, whatever I'm doing to cause the glitches. And, it was with, I can't think of his name, sorry. But anyway, so I did a healing session with this guy, and he said, it's something in your heart. And I just thought, oh, no, bullshit. No, I was a real skeptic. And then I just started crying, and I went, shit, it's my son. That's what it is. That's what came to me. And he said, you have to work out what your lesson is. He's forgiven you for blaming myself, I guess, for his loss. And you need to. And I was sort of angry because I thought, what lesson is there from losing someone? It took me ages to find out. And then, when I spoke to someone that had spoken to him, I needed that closure, I guess, that he was okay. And it had to happen for me to come to this conclusion with life. Like I was, you know, not an open person at all. I'm a loving person, but not really, you know, wasn't openly loving person. Yeah, so it's really opened up me spiritually and emotionally. Having that one session, it's taken all these years, and I can't remember what my point was there, Bobby, but it's brought me to meet, you know, people like you, all these amazing people. And it's actually, you know, they say when we're tired, it's not from lack of sleep, it's from lack of passion. And now that I've found my passion and my spark, doesn't matter how much or how little sleep I get. I'm driven now to move forward, but, you know, the energy that I'm getting from the universe and the signs in that now are just unbelievable.
Beautiful. I appreciate you so much for sharing that with us. And it's funny, as you saying that, it was 11:11 on the, I guess, the eastern coast of Australia to see that. It was like a nice angel swirl in. And I know that those words are going to reverberate against other people's stories as well. So I absolutely appreciate you so much for that. It's a wonderful feeling to share that. And you got, I mean, I would imagine that you're going to be a sturdy support beam for others who have gone through this and who are not as strong as you. Remember looking at your numbers, and I was looking at them like this. I was like, she's got some powerful chart. You've got some high-end numbers inside of there, and it's a blessing to see you unfold and completely come through. So super cool. So I appreciate you so much for that. Sounds like either a really excited child or a bird in the background.
That's the bird.
No, I'm fine. Yeah, no, I love it. I appreciate you so much for being here with us. It's been an absolute pleasure and an honor. Is there anybody else who feels like they may be going through something, like something is coming crashing? Maybe they're experiencing something. If they feel like they need a little bit of spiritual love from the group, you are more than welcome. Shannon's saying, I think I might. Okay, cool. Let's unmute you.
I have more of like a question or just something that I feel that's happening with me, if that's okay to share. I've been reading the book, The Untethered Soul, and I noticed that Karen said it too, like going behind the energy. And I'm just like trying to figure that out because I feel a lot of pull, like with frustration quickly or patience. That I feel like this is my lesson right now, that I'm trying to like get some kind of flow with it, but I keep getting stuck. Like the energy, for lack of a better way to explain it, it just feels stuck in my throat, like my throat chakra or my heart chakra, and I feel that like pressure build. So when the book was saying to get behind the energy, how do you describe that, or how do you teach someone to do that? I'm having a hard time finding it. Like I hear the words, but I'm like, how do I physically get behind the energy and let it go?
I want Karen and Craig. Let's do this.
Something that came through for me just the other week, and I can't remember where it came from, was that it's a really interesting little question to ask yourself. And it's all about observing the reaction, and then observing how you react to your own reaction. Does that make sense? So if you feel frustrated, then you say, oh, I feel frustrated. Well, how did you react to that? Was it with curiosity? Did you beat yourself up about it? Like, oh man, I've gotten frustrated again. Now I'm frustrated that I'm frustrated, and it just embeds it even further. Or can you actually, sometimes the release is actually observing it and then observing the energy that was behind the observation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you like to do something about it now?
Absolutely.
You happy to receive?
Yes.
Cool. Just close your eyes for a sec. Ui, ui. Ui, ôi, chân môi. Ôi, ôi. And when you're ready, just come back.
Wow. I felt a lot of energy movement with that.
Beautiful.
It's like kind of expanding and then releasing. And now I feel really warm right now.
Yeah. Woo! Love it. Beautiful. Thank you for receiving.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving.
Most welcome.
I love it when you do that. It sounds like a mix between Sound of Music and The Gods Must Be Crazy.
That was intense.
It was really nice. Yeah, I love it. It's almost like you're speaking in tongues when you do that, and it's such a cool feeling, man. It's honestly, Shannon, like this is a blessing to have Craig in my life, man. It's so cool.
That was amazing.
Yeah, you get your first experience here. If this is your first experience, I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I run with a really powerful group of people, and I am proud to say these are my friends, and it's so super cool. I noticed that Karen had unmuted her mic. Karen, did you want to weigh in on this? I'd love for you to speak in on this one as well.
Absolutely. So when it comes to getting behind the energy, like I said, and that's awesome that you read it in the book as well, is understanding where that anxiety is coming from or that frustration is coming from. Why did it happen in the first place, and where are you pulling it from? While it's in your throat, like I said before, let it out. Say your truth. Because if we don't say what our truth is, what are we going to do with it? It can't go anywhere. Your energy can't go anywhere if you don't let it out as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It kind of feels like I'm muted though. Like I feel like that's in part of the frustration.
Whatever it is that you feel you need to say, if you can't verbally say it, then write it down first. And if it doesn't even make sense to you at all, like what Craig did, I don't know what he was saying, but
it worked.
Like, whatever, man, high five to you. Let those whistles out. Just get it out. Cry, scream, something. Get the energy out of you so you can learn to move with it.
Okay, thank you.
I'm just totally going to be super numerologist for a second, but Shannon, you're not using your new name on Zoom, so that could be part of the problem. That like you.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out while we were in the beginning of the meeting too.
I'll see if I can do it quickly for you. We put KX, right?
Yeah.
Woo! Okay, you ready for this? Boom! How's that?
Sweet.
Boom! That's that. There you go. Cool. I love it. While we were doing this, one of my really solid mentors and friends, Francesca, came online. Francesca, I just want to quickly bring you up to speed. We've basically been just hanging out, having a spiritual conversation, wanting to connect with each other and really share with what's been happening in the universe or in the kaleidoscopic reality of the solar system in the last little while. And would love your take, your understanding of what's been happening from the Palladian perspective. This is another really strong woman, and it's an honor to have you here. So one of my mastery students as well. Francesca, are you cool if I unmute you and allow you to come and say a little bit here? I think you may be ready to do this. Let me just go for it and see if I can unmute you here. How's it going?
Hi, good.
How are you feeling?
Wow, it's been a pretty amazing few weeks, and I've kind of not really read too much into the astrological stuff because I've been writing up my own transmissions in posts. Well, I've been briefly writing posts. There's a lot more that comes through, which might end up being chapters in a book or might end up being some kind of a workshop for people that are ready to go that level. But so there's been some really amazing stuff, and it really is happening now. You know, we've been hearing about this for I don't know, maybe a decade. But it actually really is happening now, this change. So we've had a beautiful run into that lead into what's going on energetically right now. And the last few days or the last week, it's definitely about the morphing of man. And when I say man, I mean human, the human. So it's not just spiritually, there's a physical component to that. So we might not see the expression of that within the physical organs or the human systems for decades to come. But I was given information back in 2007 where our organs, there was going to be some change within our organs, mainly the digestive system. And they actually showed me what would happen. But they said to me, you might wait hundreds of years for that to actually occur. But so, we know that as we're moving and transitioning more into a lighter body or crystalline body, there's a change to our carbon-based cellular structure. Am I going a little bit too deep there? Because you can stop me anytime.
I've been waking up at 4:44 in the morning for the last 3 weeks, and going to the gym and working out and actually being conscious of my health and eating better, losing weight. And for me, it's been I'm about to get married next month. I want to look good in my tux. But at the same time, now that you're seeing this, I'm looking back and I'm like, holy crap, back in 2009, 2010, I opened up this journey to self-love, self-worth, and so I have to learn how to take care of myself, because if I don't, no one will. And at that moment, I was around the 27 mark. And to think that in a couple of years, it'll be that decade for me. But what you're saying right now is so super powerful. I appreciate that. And also for not looking into the astrology of things, because your perspective, your transmissions, your downloads are going to offer an absolute brand new perspective. So please, yes, put them in the book. Absolutely make the workshop, make a book on the workshop, make a workshop on the book, and let me be involved. But because you were like, oh, it's going to end up in chapters somewhere. I'm like, well, is there a transmission for us? Is there something that's going to be brought down in this meeting that's going to help provide the yearning spiritual soul to find a little bit of solace or a bit of understanding about what's going on in this last couple of weeks and months?
Well, so I've got tingling in my body, so something will come through. That's always a confirmation. The word that popped in just as you were asking that was the word compromise. So there's no room to compromise the soul that you're holding or hosting. The physical body hosts the essence of the soul. And up until now, we've been able to get away with compromise, but that is slowly dissolving. The compromise offers us this so-called safety barrier or safety screen, but it's dissolving. So we are becoming more authentically real and true, regardless of our conditioned state. So we are becoming more transparent. So these blockages that are surfacing are definitely there for us to acknowledge, observe, and then choose whether we want to continue them or not. And that's just in reference to Shannon and the work Craig was doing. That was just so perfectly said, Craig, where you have that reaction and then you become the observer. And in the observer, you see whether you judge yourself, criticize yourself, comfort usually there's a judgment behind a reaction, but to actually go behind the eyes of the observer then means you can really choose to change that or go with it. So neither is right or wrong. It's just really about making that conscious choice. And there is definitely going to be a lot of work done in the throat chakra because it is about communication. We're in that year, aren't we? The Earth is in a year 3. So it is about expression and communication. and expansion at a personal level. The 3 is about the personal journey. So it's like it's an amazing year. And then next year, we actually really get to put it into practice. The Earth coming into a 4-year, it's it's really putting that into practice. No, you don't have to wait for next year to put it into practice. But so yesterday, I sent you a message about this massive download that came in. And it's never just an event. There's always a lead into it. But yesterday I felt it in my physical body. And they showed me something that was going on behind the heart. So the physical heart, but something behind the physical heart, which we can look at it and say, well, it's within the heart chakra, somewhere behind the heart chakra, there was some kind of something came in that's been connected. And of course, our sense of expression and communication, where we've compromised that is going to come through our gut reactions, our digestive systems. This is why I really loved the way they showed me the digestive system. The message was, you will only take in what you need and release what you don't. And that is a way of life. It's not just about food. The health of our body, our physical vessel, is really important. I mean, this is why I think everyone here is probably in the same business, online business.
Yep.
So it's vital. It's really important. Anyway.
Good time to have some water right now.
Yes, I know. I'd have a drink. And this water, this is how I came to this water. The water took me and had a conversation with me. And it was about the crystalline nature of the water that will support the changes in ourselves. So for me, it's about really getting as many people as I can drinking the water.
So basically, because we're drinking this amazing water, it's so super cool to plug in a magic to all of this, to think that it's because it makes sense, because it's actually detoxing things on the cellular level and helping you hydrate so much faster. It's such a cool experience.
If we could actually, with a microscope, look at the crystalline structure of this water, you would be amazed.
Wow.
Anyway, that's me. Thank you for asking me to share.
Welcome, Francesca. It's an honest honor to have you as a part of my crew and a part of the people that I know we're building this new future with. And it's so super cool to think that you've activated 4 gifts in the nick of time. Like, you just decided, that's it, I'm going to get this done. And then in comes all of this massive level of spiritual energy. Another person I would absolutely, undoubtedly recommend that you work alongside or work with. It's funny because she started talking about a year 3 and a year 4. And part of what I wanted to do today, which is actually a really good segue into this, because I don't plan things. I just go out and this is as good as I get as a note. This is basically I'm going to take some notes, and I get a sticky note, and it's got a smiley face on it, and it's like a Batman symbol. I'm like, this is my goal for tonight, okay? To make people happy and to talk about Batman somewhere. But Francesca's a student of mine. I had and weird to say that about a giant Palladian starlight over here being a student of mine. I got a chance to actually teach her numerology in a really big way, and it was a wonderful experience. Same thing with Carly. I'm not sure if I have any more of my students here who have taken my program, but at the end of this month, I'm opening it back up again. So it's and I'd love it if you guys manifested for me, if it's not for you, to say, Bobby, you're going to find the person you need or the person who needs to be in there. Numerologymastery.info. I'm planning to be in that class. Angelique, message me, let me know that you're in. Let's make sure what happens. It's going to be a 4-day course happening at the end, but I teach people about numerology. I teach you how to write numbers, read numbers, and absolutely get into the conversation of learning how to read numerology in things, as well as being able to align names and to have that sensation of power that happens inside of knowing what your numbers mean. Not to take away from the fact that you're all very spiritual people and you all have your own modalities, you all have your own pockets of influence, your own corners of influence. What I would like to think is that this adds a layer of understanding and does not need to be the end-all be-all of what you do in your life. If you do want to become an aspiring numerologist, I will help you set your business up. But I wanted to share that with you guys because a lot of people who I work with, I get a chance to see you guys more than once. And we work in, as we grow, we get deeper. You come back to me and come and see me again, and we get a chance to grow even more. So at a certain point, I'm realizing I can't do this all by myself. And I need someone else to know to speak my language. Like Francesca's like, it's a 3-year, it's about expression. I'm like, you go, girl. That's exactly what it means. And then she's like, yeah, and then next year we're gonna put it into practice. I'm like, I'm so proud because you've really embodied that information. And I don't want to take credit for it because obviously you're amazing. But the reality is that it helps me to leverage some of this reality that we have, that numbers make sense. They actually work towards you and help you guys out. So I would absolutely love to invite you guys in order to be in there. I also want to invite you guys as if you're a coach, if you've got a product, if you've got a program, if you're working with people one-on-one, if you're a wellness, spiritual, whatever it is that you do, I am putting together a group of leaders that I want to speak on a panel. I want to speak on a stage. I want to speak in a retreat. I want to speak in a program. I want to speak in something bigger. And I know Craig and I have done this. I know Francesca and I have done this. And for the rest of you guys, in case that maybe that's not you yet, and you're like, oh, that'd be cool. I'd love to get there one day. By all means, would love to have you in there. If you are one of the people who are in there who are like, look, I already have a business. I like what you're doing over here. Let's collabo. Let's make a collaboration and really come together with some powerful program. I'd like to think that this gives people value. When people see this and they get a chance to see us, especially as a group, and they get a chance to see this thing that goes back and forth, we can help people. We can help a lot of people, help a lot of people, help a lot of people. Because I love my business and I love you guys and I appreciate all you guys for being here with me. And I hope that you take this moment to really just own your growing curve. And we picked up so many cool things today. Like so many cool things today. It's an unbelievable honor and a pleasure to have this. And I appreciate you guys for being here so much as well. I want to open this back up just in case Nikki said you wanted to share. I'd love to open this up to anyone else who feels like they want to jive into the conversation. We've gotten to the 90-minute mark, so everything after here is bonus, but I believe I'm set up on my calendar for 2 hours. So I'd love to help with the Akashic records I do. Leimomi, I would love that. It would be so good. It would be so good. So you connect with me privately, and I will induct you into my legacy leadership. It's a little bit messy right now because the group doesn't work properly. But hey, you know what? You don't have to be perfect in order to get stuff done. You just have to get stuff done in order to get stuff done. But I was going to share with you guys one more thing here. And I wanted to see here. Okay. Nikki, did you want to share with us before we get to the end of our time together about what's going on? Or I'm not sure if I misread that or not.
Hey, Bobby.
Hey, what's up? How you doing?
Hey.
How are ya?
I'm okay.
Yeah. Okay. So what's going on? How's this whole last couple of days, weeks been treating you?
Shit house. Yeah. Well, you already know what's going on. But yeah, I've been silent on Facebook, so yeah, I haven't told the world. So yeah, what happens in the group stays in the group if we can, until I'm ready to share it.
Okay. If you want, what I'll do, I might even just pause the recording for you if you'd like.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay, cool. We're going to go off. All right, guys. I appreciate you guys so much, everybody, for sharing your evening with us, sharing your morning with us, whatever time it is during the day for you. I look at all you guys here, and I look at futures that are growing. I see programs that are going to come to fruition, 6A, 2s, and beyond. people with their own like absolute power inside of them that are growing as leaders, growing inside of their own life. And I'm speaking that into existence for you guys because I know what it's like to feel the cards stacked against me and to think that we're all stacked against the cards now. Like we're all in a family and a team together. And my biggest wish, because I'm going to eventually turn this into a Facebook group. And I think Vicky was the one that was like, you should do that. It'd be a lot easier. I'm like, relax. Of course it would be easier. But at the same time, I like to think that there's an intimate control or an intimate feeling that we're all in this together emotionally. So group chat was great just to start things off. But sooner or later, I'm going to be putting this into a private group. And in that, there will be a community that grows. And in that, masters, sages, wizards, leaders are to be inspired. We're going to find the place that we're gonna grow into ultimately. And for me personally, selfishly, Bobby, myself, for me to think that I had a piece and I had a part to play when you're on there and you're super rich and super famous. I'm like, I know Craig. Craig and I put the letter in his name, no big deal. He calls me Craig Ahoy. And, to know that I played a part in that, for me, selfishly feeling, it's one of the most loving feelings I could ever. I used to get beat up in elementary school and high school. The girl that I liked, or the girls that I liked, whenever I liked to go, they make fun of me. I have issues with my weight, self-worth. I had issues with drugs. You guys know half of my story if you don't have the whole thing. The amount of self-abuse and the hurt. So to think that now I get a chance to facilitate growing, healing, and loving for other people around the world, it's second to none, probably the most amazing experience I've ever had in my entire life. And I appreciate you guys so much for, being there with me, guys. So I thank you guys again for showing up. I'm going to be posting the replay soon. Francesca says, thanks, Bobby. Angelique, that's what your VA is for. Angelique Strang is a virtual assistant. And so in case any of you guys need some help doing some of the things that you need to get done on your page or in your life or your business, absolutely hit her up and let her know. All of you guys have gifts and powers to give. And some of you may be looking and be like, I really do want to make a program, or I really do want to start doing this thing as a thing, or doing whatever I'm doing. Perhaps maybe we should talk. Perhaps maybe we should talk indeed. And if you are feeling like that numerology mastery course is something you'd like to be a part of, reach out to me. Let me know. I do have early bird tickets. I also have payment plans. And take it from the people who have been involved. Can I get a quick, Carly and Francesca, do you guys mind dropping like 60 seconds or 30 seconds real quick about what it was like to go through that information? We did was it like a 3-day, or we did 4 days, right? But Carly, I'm going to unmute you really quickly. Let's see if I got you, or I think you may have unmuted. Here you go.
Yep, I'm good.
So, mastery course, what do people need to know?
It's fucking mind-blowing. From that, it was like for me, it was my journey into further developing my spirituality and finding my niche. So for me, it was just like that stepping stone, and now I see those numbers everywhere and I know what's going on for me. So it's actually given me the roads where I'm falling down that day. I'll see heaps of numbers that I know what they mean to find where I need to go next, and the stepping stones. That's what I'm trying to, yeah. It's just been so epic since then to go. And with payment plans, like Bobby, you are amazing for that. Like me and my husband got the payment plans, and it was, just right for us. So
I appreciate you so much. It's so cool to watch you grow. You are a different person than when we first met. That was a year ago. It was a year ago.
Yes.
Unreal. So super cool. Thank you. How about Francesca? Do you mind, Francesca, maybe coming out and sharing with us how it was or what it was like? Are you here? Are you still with us? They still see you here. There you are. I'm going to unmute you. Or maybe you unmuted yourself. I'm not sure if you did it or not. I would love to hear your thoughts on what the mastery course was like. See, here you go. There you are.
Well, I really enjoyed the mastery course. I already had a bit of background in numerology with my own understanding of numbers. But what you brought in, your perspective and take, and what you teach was absolutely phenomenal. So it just gave me another depth to it. And well, I love numbers. I've always loved numbers, worked with numbers all my life in different areas of work. So anyone that's interested in numbers or wants to understand the language that numbers bring to our lives, I definitely highly recommend it. You're just an amazing teacher and master at what you do. So definitely 100%, 150%. I've never seen numerology taught the way you teach it. So it was really great to see that.
Yeah. See what I'm saying? See, never been taught in the way that I teach it. Little old me. Come on, guys. That's so cool. I appreciate you guys so much. Honestly, that just made me feel really good. I'm going to go and enjoy my kids now. They've come back from the weekend at grandparents' house, and it's so super cool. I appreciate you guys. Even Leimomi saying, I have to thank you, wife, for reading me and my hubby when we changed our names. We really shine together since in this business. I appreciate you so much for that. Well, guys, it's been a pleasure. Let's put this one back into the books. Numerology Alumni Series, Episode 3. Another absolute amazing success. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Your path is worthy. Your path is worth it. Whatever you need from me, I am here for you. Doesn't matter what it is, when it is. If it's in the middle of the night, you can message me. I probably just won't answer until the morning because I'm sleeping. But you can message me anytime, and I will absolutely be there for you. And I love you guys so much. I can't wait till I give you guys big jumping hugs and we see each other again in the 3D, actually in the real flesh. And I'm like, and we'll have a really big hug. All right, guys, you have a great rest of your day. And I'm sending all of you guys love. All of you very much love. All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.